So, we're live. Move this out of the way. Don't hear too much tapping. Hello. Should be live now. Haven't set my live chat yet. Why is my thingy not working? Hello? 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 Should be working now. Oops. Sorry. YouTuber. Hello, Sudden. An idol of greed. You guys are here early. Good to have you here. Ideal of greed, sorry. Pirates and 10 Fires. 89 pages of short story. Wow. It does not sound like a very short story, Sidon. Right. Right, we've got a bit of a new scene today. We're looking at my video editor. And we are going to be working on, hopefully, a new video. I haven't set up much yet, so it'll be interesting to see how well this goes. Although my microphone seems very quiet. Why is that so quiet? Can you hear me okay, Saidan? Hello, hello. That's strange. Sounds fine. Okay, good. Right, so yeah, like I said, we're going to be working on our live stream today, on our video editing today. We'll open up Discord first, just send a wee live message. We live. Oops. Okay, we're good to go now. Somebody talk about 3D animation. I'm sorry, Thorndix. Unfortunately, the what's it called? The Unreal Engine editor was messing about, so no 3D animation today. I had the scene kind of set up and it was looking kind of cool, but Unreal Engine was being very naughty. So instead, we are going to be working on a video for today. We've got a few of our things in place already. We've got a bunch of our images. I'll go through some of these images so you guys can see them. So we've had the chance. What is this? It's like a slideshow. Yeah, so I've done a bunch of images over my little mini holiday. So it should have some cool stuff to show you guys. Though, wrong ones in there. Maybe another time, Throndex. Sorry, mate. Trying to see other images in here. This one. This one. This one. This one. That one. That one. Looking through the images I have in my folder, see which ones I need to add in. I think we're good. Okay. Light of the king obscuring darkness. Very poetic. Right. So, over the holiday, I managed to get a lot of art done for the vampire video. So we should have some pretty cool stuff. So, the way I normally approach video editing. First things first, I get all my art together. And then we start to write a script. So we can start doing that actually. Let me just get my drive open. We'll write a script together. Doc. Vampires. Okay, you guys see that? So first things first, we need to write our script, because the script is the most important part. Because we know what we're doing. So you're going to be seeing a bunch of lore in here as well. Maybe you guys can help me a bit with this one. We should have a few ideas on what to do, but I normally do this by myself, so this is gonna make my brain go blank before we get into this. Right, vampires. It's something like a short list of terminology. Very cool. So we have to look through the images whilst we do this, I guess. So, I think we'll start off by doing something like, we'll mention details about mosquitoes, and how they are, in fact, horrible beasties. And we'll look into the, this list. I don't know if I sent this over to you guys. We've got a list of different types of vampires I'm going to go through. So we have, humans, for reference, just under 2 meters. True vampires, which are these mosquito boys. Lesser vampires, which are essentially just undergrown true vampires. Feral vampires, which I think are my favourite. Troll fleas. So obviously fleas that live on trolls, but will attack humans if they can. Giant ticks. Troll flies, which are basically just horse flies, lurkers, and the dreaded blooded eel. Obviously the blooded eel is huge, as are the lurkers. The lurkers are obviously leeches, and the blooded eel is a, what's it called? I can't remember. Like that type of eel that lives in the UK. Then you have the vampire swarms as well, which are basically midges. Me, or does sound actually quiet? Quiet me. Okay, I thought it was quiet. It was showing up as quiet on my OBS. Why is that so quiet? One second. Okay, how about now? Is that better? Oh yeah, that's looking much better already. The same mic. Hello, hello. How's that doing? Anyway, hello, Riffy. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you here. Just editing a video. Now it's good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I'll show you guys some of the new art I've done anyway. And before we jump into the video. Like I said, over the holiday I had lots of time to go through a bunch. I think I showed you guys a bunch of these anyway. So we've got our mosquito in disguise guy. This is the one I was doing whilst watching Stranger Things. hence the lighting. We've then got our main mosquito. These guys are about 2 meters tall, so pretty big boys. Sound is way better. Okay, so it's definitely off. Right, sorry about that. So the mosquitoes are pretty huge. They can get to much bigger sizes, and they have to be dealt with by certain peoples. But you also have different types of mosquitoes. So these are the ones we just mentioned there. And so the lesser mosquitoes are just smaller ones that you only really see once they get bigger, because a lot of these lesser vampires just live in the forest and eat animals. We also have feral mosquitoes, which is the one we drew in the previous stream, I think. So these are kind of little guys. They're essentially vampires which have evolved towards a more animalistic view. And then we have the vampires which are more intelligent. They're like Fae, and then just the feral ones. There's a big difference between them when it comes to evolution, because the true vampires are more adapted to like capturing humans and eating them, whereas the feral vampires are they've got to kind of outcompete each other, so they kind of just jump on and latch on, hence their kind of claws. Fallen, is that you? Is Fallen here? I can't see Fallen. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So, like I said, there's other types of like things that are considered vampires. For example, the giant leeches. So these kind of live in the swamps and waters and sneak up on people in the swamps of Icenia, for example, but also in the rivers. We also have what do you call them? Giant ticks as well. This is a big boy sneaking down a little forest friend. We also have the mosquito flies, like the vampire swarms, which are very common around the western coast of Caledonia. And got some other images as well. A vampire being dissected. Our cool little lady, who is actually a badass super warrior. We've got our sneaky vampire hiding in a house. And then this is like a little trinket that the sensemen receive after they've kind of finished their obligatory service. They receive like a nice pin, which is a good indicator to other sensemen of what they did. And a 1 kilogram senseman coin, a marble coin, which is pretty cool. And then anything else? I think that's all of it. So yeah, oh yeah, and then this is the one we did like a while ago of like a senseman. So lots to do in the video. We'll see how far we get. So we'll start off with that like kind of short story, and then we'll go into like the logo, and then we're going to move into the next part, which is talking about sneaky vampires. And in fact, maybe we'll actually use some mosquito reference photos. So I'll get some from Pixabay. Just to show you guys, with a lot of my videos, I use Pixabay stuff. It's awesome, to be honest. You get loads of free images, and I think generally they're free to use. They'll normally say down here free to use, but I also use it for like sound effects. You can get some really good sound effects on here. They do videos and other stuff as well, but I mostly use it for sound effects, music, and photographs. So it's a very, very good one to use. So I'm going to download that one. I'll get a few of these. It's just like little reference points. Vampires. References. I never streamed on my computer before, so I'm trying to do this without like doxing myself or something. There we go. Right, so we can use those reference images. Oops, the wrong screen up. And grab our reference image folder. There we go. And we'll add this one in. Scary mosquito. Is anyone in here freaked out by mosquitoes at all? I found a really good like SFX file, which is like a really horrible sounding mosquito like drumming against your ears. So that'd be a good one for the video, for sure. So we'll go into more of the explanation. We'll talk a little bit about the Great University and how they want to do more research on them. Actually, you might do that after. In fact, talk about how big they get. Then we'll go into the different types. So we'll reference this again. Then we'll talk about feral. Oops, wrong one. I think I got the wrong one. And we'll talk a bit more about feral vampires. Show differences in their hands. I think this is generally how I make videos. I haven't really thought about it that much, if I'm honest. I kind of just freestyle it, but it's good to kind of lay down the images because then you kind of know what you're talking about before you write the script, which is always quite useful. We'll go back to the reference image. And then we'll talk about leeches. And then we need a leech reference from Pixabay. Leech. There's been lots of horrible insect pictures in this, I think. And we might as well get a tick one as well. Ugh, ticks are so gross. And we'll also get a lamprey. Nope, no lampreys. Oh, that'll do. And no one realised that Blank was Drake. To be honest, Blank, I think you mentioned it in like a stream a while ago and then never mentioned it again. So I think some people who missed that stream did not realise that you two were the same people. Like, mosquitoes freak me out. Well, I'm sorry, Blank, you might not enjoy this video because there's going to be a lot of mosquitoes and mosquito noises. Apart from sending an IRL frog shrine, I don't know what I would do with your address. That would be a very cool shrine to send. That'd be a cool video, actually, making a real frog shrine. Mr. Alu, thanks for joining us, mate. Good to see you. They don't freak me out, but I do activate like fucking sleep agent the second I hear one. Me too. It's like that. As soon as it goes past your ear in bed, it's like you shoot up, right? They're horrible. Mosquito noises. Lovely. I'll show you guys the mosquito SFX I found in a little bit, but I think it will be a cool one. A horrible one, sorry. Right, so we reference the leech. And then we're going to reference the oops. And then we'll reference the tick. Oh no, tick first. I didn't really do any images of the horsefly. I probably should have done that. Oh well. If any of you don't know, this is DaVinci Resolve, by the way, which is a really awesome free video editing software. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. I think if I can start making money from this project, I'll just pay for it, because I actually like, it's like that standard thing of when you really like a video game, so you just buy the video game instead of trying to be a pirate. Which I think is probably quite a normal thing for people. Even when I was a student, I was like, right, if this video game is good enough, I'm not going to pirate it. Not that I've ever pirated anything, Mr. FBI man. Oops. Then we use our tick image, which I'm very proud of. I think this is one of my favorite images that I drew. I drew it quite quickly as well. I think just like kind of the 3D trees and everything look kind of cool. Catch up Raffi, because I'll be making another and eventually a Mad God of the Abyss. That sounds cool. DaVinci Resolve, is that exactly right? You can see it up in the top left here. DaVinci Resolve. Really, really good piece of kit. It crashes sometimes. I think if it does that, you just kind of have to update it. But it's so good, and it's so much versatility, and it's just a very, very good piece of software. Right, so reference all of them. We've got our leeches as well. And then we talk a little bit more about... and then the blood flies as well. Forgot about that. So add them in. I think this is probably going to be one of my longest videos. Let's get an image of Midge. For you guys who don't know, these vampire swarms are based off this insect called a midge. And a midge is something that's really common in the northern hemisphere, I think. So they're basically tiny, tiny little flies, and they just drink blood. So they'll typically go for horses, like wild horses in like Iceland and stuff like that, I think. And you have, I think you get them in like Sweden and stuff, and they go for elk in Russia. I think if you have elk, whatever's in the north. But of course they go for humans as well, and they're horrible. They're so horrible. It's to the point where you can't really go outside at certain times of the year in Scotland, because they just bite you so much, and it's like it's painful. It's not like a mosquito where you don't feel it. You feel it, every single one of them, and there's like thousands of them in every swarm. So I thought that'd be a great example of a wee vampire. So let's get those reference images, add them in. See, add them in here. Cool. So we've got a lot of images there already. So then we'll go into kind of part 2, which is about the sensemen. So sensemen are essentially dudes who go out as vampire hunters. So then we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how their main job is to bring lots of different plants. So let's get some good plant reference images. Marigold. So this is a flower that I use in my garden to deal with butterflies laying like eggs, like caterpillars on my cabbages. It's a very good plant. Also got garlic, of course, and a few others. Everyone knows what garlic looks like, but we'll find the garlic. Garlic image. Marigolds, garlic, and we'll do one more. We'll say, what's a good smelly plant? Lavender, yeah, because their main plant is lavender anyway. There we go. We'll bring that one in. So let's have the marigolds, and then at night time, dum ba dum ba dum. Quite happy with that transition. Angry face, happy face, angry face, happy face. And then we'll reference the university. We'll talk about them as warriors. We'll talk about their job for dealing with vampires. Actually, we'll talk about that last, because that's a good kind of last image. Talk about how they get paid, and then we'll finish on that one. I think it should be pretty cool video. I'm just checking to see if there's any more images we've missed. No, we're good. Okay, so it should be pretty cool. Sacrifice your cabbage to the caterpillar. No, never. I like butterflies in my garden, but I need my cabbages. Make an effort to grow them, and then they just get eaten by bloody caterpillars. To the caterpillars, sacrifice your cabbage. No. The transition looks cool. Good. I'm glad. I cheated it a bit by just using the same image and editing it, but it comes across as kind of cool. Flower warrior. The black and white image was insanely good. Oh, thank you, Riffy. It's a bit of a rough one. I was trying to do a bit of a scene with it, but yeah. Sacrifice it, bard. Sacrifice the little baby caterpillars. Never! You can have some of my other plants. I had black flies on my bean sprouts a couple of years ago, so I stopped growing them. And then last year I had cabbages again, and with my marigolds I didn't have any caterpillars, which was good. But the caterpillars eat other stuff in my garden as well, so it's fine. They won't starve. Okay. Right. Let's have a look then. So we've got our scene. So we're going to do like that bit of kind of narrative part, where it's like, okay, a dude is in the alleyway, he asks you to approach. And as you get closer, you realize that his voice is not his own, and it's almost like you're not hearing it, it's kind of vibrating, because the mosquitoes kind of vibrate. This is kind of a plan because they can't talk because of their mouth, so they vibrate their wings in a pattern because they're very intelligent to sound like speech. So he asks you to help him just to carry a box or something. And as you enter the alleyway, you realize that this is not a man at all, and you are attacked. Okay, I'm going to go into the video. Mosquitoes are terrible, everybody hates them. But after the acceleration, mosquitoes also evolved. So they evolved in multiple ways. Most vampires, most mosquitoes just became bigger or became quite feral, but some changed to Fae and they become very intelligent. And because of the number of mosquitoes in the British Isles, obviously there's a lot of vampires, because even 1% of all mosquitoes in the UK would be a lot. So then it goes into the explanation. There's many different types of vampires. Actually, we won't show that image yet. So the different... Ooh, which one did I delete? I deleted the wrong one. So one of the big ones is the feral vampires, who are naughty boys. Just attack anything on sight. They're a bit different to the true vampires in how they evolved. And then we go into the ticks. What's the ticks next? We'll talk about the troll fleas a little bit, and then giant ticks. And then we talk a bit about the troll flies, and then the lurkers. And then we'll talk about the bloody eel a little bit, and then we'll talk about the midges. And then we'll go into part 2 with the sensemen, talk about the plants they grow. We'll mention their job and what they do as vampire hunters, and who they work for, how they're kitted out, and they always carry these kind of heavy packs full of flowers when they go into battle, their payment, and then finally something cool to say at the end. Yeah. Garden will be held as a tribute to Caterpillar Bard. Enough so they aren't completely depleted, but your cabbages shall be given over to the offspring. Winter! Hey mate! Finally off work during your stream. Art for this video looking sick. Thanks man. Appreciate you being here. Duck as well. Hey Duck. Thanks for dropping in. Good to have you both here. Yeah, we're just working on the vampire video. I thought I'd do it a bit differently today. I was away for a week and I did enough art for 2 videos, so I need to catch up on the videos. So I thought this would be a good chance to kind of get stuck in and get that done. So we've got lots of art to go through. I'm going to kind of go through the script at the same time, I think. So you'll kind of see my script writing process as well. Let's kind of, oops, put this on the side. Hello. So, we'll be playing Half Sword, so we won't be able to talk that much. Oh, Half Sword is so good. Any of you other guys playing Half Sword at the moment? I highly recommend it. It's very violent. It's very difficult to run unless you've got a fast PC, but it's a very, very good game. So that's acceptable, Duck. You're allowed to play that at the same time. Okay. So we'll start with that kind of narrative story part. We'll say something like, man approaches you. No. It is late. It is late. You're approached in the dark. Help me. The voice calls from the hooded figure, the cloaked figure. Please, I need help. The voice is disjointed. The words separated, as if He came from different people. The voice is deep. As if the vibrations carry further than the sound. You want to walk away. But you can't. You stare at the being as he moves closer. Please. 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 The word does not change. It is the same word that he repeats, as if it is being played back to me. He is so close. I hear the vibration now. Rustling. My spelling in this is terrible. I apologize. Rustling from his back. A stab to your chest. I'm using the wrong... I'm switching a bit between you and I here, so I need to correct that. He's so close. You hear the vibration. That's fine. I'd help. You want to walk away because... Please, please, please. A stab to your chest. It is so sudden that it wins you. Your body locks up. What is happening? Thank you. Thank you. So... Oh, it's not frozen, has it? Oh, no, okay, it's working. Okay, so here's my train of thought. Mosquitoes, when they stab you, they obviously look for a vein, but they also spit their saliva into your wound to numb you. So this, because the mosquitoes can't talk, they use the vibrations, and they kind of copy the vibrations that other people use when they speak. So obviously he's heard it, and he's kind of mimicking it. It's like a typical monster, what's it called? Cliche, I think. But basically I'm going to record thank you once and just play it 3 times when I'm editing. So it sounds exactly the same. So he's going to inject this person with his mouth thing, spit into them, and they're paralyzed. So it kind of does the vampire trope of kind of attracts you with the vibration, so you're kind of stunned, and then he is going to lock you in place with the spit before he drains you. So I'm going to try and do as many vampire tropes as I can to kind of connect them together. So that will hopefully come across in the video. We'll see. Let's look through the comments again. The Soldier Tawny at the moment. I think I'm on Soldier as well, Duck. Is Soldier when everyone starts wearing plate? Because that's super difficult. I was using Longsword for that, and I told you I think but I was so happy with my Longsword and then just got absolutely rinsed. Winter, I've been super tempted to get it. A lot like Examiner, and I love that game. Loads of people have recommended Examiner to me. I think I did try it a while ago, but I think I was busy at the time, so I need to get back onto that. I really wanted to get into the gladiator mechanic of that, because I love those kind of gladiator games where your character has 1 life. It's very fun. Thronix, I'm fine actually, thanks, but as you may understand, I'm not really in full possession of my mental capabilities. Why not? You've been hit by a vampire as well, Thronix? I'm doing good. Just doing some little drawings whilst watching. What about you? What are you drawing, Winter? Are you working on your next video? I want to know more about your beasties. And I liked the comment someone made where it's like, oh, you know, if they've got drones, that means there must be a queen, right? Because the people are captured. Some of the people are captured and dragged off into the night. That was so intriguing, Winter. A very, very good video. If you guys haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend checking it out. Very intriguing. There you go. Blank. You need to watch it. Soldiers when everyone starts wearing proper armor and stuff. Yeah, that's a difficult part. Those damn spear things with a million pointy bits. Yeah, the war spear. They're horrible, aren't they? Okay, so we go into that. So we'll say vampires are a typical trope that has been used time and time again in media. I'm going to do this a bit. I'm going to do this a bit meta, a bit more meta than I usually do. So I'm going to kind of talk about my process whilst I do the video, and hopefully that'll kind of give a bit more of an insight to the drawings. So I'll do it less from the perspective in world and do it kind of half and half. Then we go into media. You know, they suck blood. They don't like bright sunlight. They hate garlic. And they die if they get staked through the heart. The only other animal I know does the same. It follows all the same rules. Is a mosquito. Yeah, pick up Torun again, definitely. I'm really excited for Copper Vale, and I love Torun. I'd love to see both of them as much as I can. Snake, hi. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the shout out. No worries, mate. Very good video, so I'm more than happy to shout it out. Anyone got any good additions we can add into this script about mosquitoes? I feel like I want to talk about, we got kind of like the basis of what we want to talk about, but we mentioned a few stuff in like other streams about like how we can apply vampire-esque things to a lot of the animals in the world. Alright guys, it's not that late, but I'm having more and more sleep troubles, and I don't want to have another sleepless night. So I'll try to go to sleep early. Alright, no worries, Throndix. Hope you managed to get some sleep, mate. Alright, you don't recognize me. It's Fallen. Fallen! Man, you have like 17 accounts. It's very difficult to follow all of these. I completely forgot you were Snake. I recognize your profile picture now, actually, but you gotta stick to one, dudes. Otherwise I can't follow. Mosquitoes were also affected during the acceleration in many different ways. However, for every one fox or badger on the Albion Isles, there were tens of thousands of mosquitoes. The chances of mutation were much higher. And they were almost guaranteed amongst the number. Also, Soldier 20 beat, veteran rank unlocked. You've surpassed me already, Duck. Good job. What weapon are you using, Duck? Term vampire is used behind closed doors. Belief by the many superstitious constituents by the superstitious population of the islands. Is by ushering the name of the beast. You invite it into your home. However, many different animals also have been given this name or classification. The great universities have grouped them into a list of vampire beasts. Cool, so we'll go through that, yeah. Poleaxe currently. I've got 2 swords as well as backup. Poleaxe is really good. Poleaxes, halberds, anything that you can kind of bash and, if possible, also slash is super useful for sure. Makes a big difference. Great University grouped them into the list of vampire beasts. The first in this number are the what called? Even know the name of my own beasts. True vampires. These are mosquito fae, intelligent creatures, unable to speak, but more than capable of devious acts. These creatures can grow more than 2 meters tall. 2 meters, or I should say 7 foot tall for all my North American friends. I don't know if that translates exactly. 2 meters in feet. Okay, 6.5. However, and are extremely dangerous, preferring to feed off soft humans and fae rather than the dangerous beasts of the forest. They hide out in homes and wait until occupants sleep before draining them whole. However, because mosquitoes are considered dangerous weird folk by all, they are generally attacked on sight. So secrecy is necessary. How is this sounding so far? Also, I don't know if this stream is very boring. This is very much how my process works. You know, kind of lay it out. I should say this. Lay it out. Write the script, and then start to fill out the editing as well. I think it kind of works quite well. What do you guys think so far? It's sounding quite interesting. Adding the mosquitoes being able to mimic the last sounds of the victim would be kind of dope. Yeah, so that's the idea, is like, because they kind of have, they're not able to communicate, they're not able to speak, they could perhaps speak to each other with vibrations of their wings, because they can't use their wings because they're too big, at least the true vampires. So they use them to kind of resonate at the same speed of the so it sounds like whatever the person is talking, whatever the person. Oh, my brain is not working today. They vibrate their wings, so they make the sound, like you said, of the kind of someone they've heard before, which is why they kind of repeat what they say. What do you think? IRL, mosquitoes can extract blood from every freaking animal. There's recordings of mosquitoes sucking blood from worms, snakes, fishes, frogs. Oh my gosh, yeah. So, nasty beasties. Are you cool seeing your process? Are you working off an outline or just writing as you go? Just freestyling it, man. If I'm honest, whilst I'm drawing a lot of these images, I'm kind of thinking, and I think it's quite a passive thing as well. So you have an idea of kind of the flow, and we just laid out all the images, so I kind of know the flow of the video. But the scripts I normally just freestyle before I start recording. And then as I'm recording, I'll find stuff I don't like, and I'll kind of delete it and then record it again with the new text. So it seems to have worked out so far. Okay, so people don't like vampires; they kill on sight. Okay, so lesser vampires. Just recently evolved vampires. Mosquito. They are generally quite small. Much more fragile. Also, to make them able to pierce armor, you can make that their iron, the blood that consumed, could partially integrate into the mouth parts in small scales, thus making their mouth parts biologically reinforced with iron, which would give them piercing power. That's a cool idea, actually. I'm trying to follow the biological stuff as much as possible. I know I'm kind of bending it with the vibrations, and I'm bending it a bit with like the thing that paralyzes the dude. But I'm going to do it where just so they have kind of, I guess, a mosquito. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, but they have like a mosquito carapace, I guess, right? Like just like their insect body, which would be quite armored. Which is why the sensemen use a lot of hammers, because they have to kind of pierce through the body of the mosquito. So I would imagine that the mouth part would be exceptionally strong anyway. And they have these like the senseman woman here has a special weapon that she uses anyway. Oops. Which is this one. So this is used to cut the mouth off of a mosquito. So it is like very strong, but they use them to kind of like obviously disarm them if they can. Dismouth them, I guess. I'm back. What did you miss? You missed just me writing a script. We're kind of going through what we're going to be recording here. I'll try and see if I can finish the video tonight, actually. We've still got an hour left, so we might actually be able to do it. Much more fragile. Most lesser vampires do not make it to true vampire form. and mosquitoes not friendly to one another. So if a true vampire feels threatened, they will drain a lesser vampire without a second thought. Feral vampires. Most mosquitoes who evolve go feral. Their new size and strength give them confidence to attack animals outright. Animals, humans, and fae outright. The minds stay bestial. And they are generally unable to control themselves when in a feeding frenzy. IRL, some animals have high concentrations of iron in their teeth, like hamsters and other rodents. That's cool. I didn't know that. I would recommend saying most vampires don't ascend to true vampirehood. That's a cool way to say it. Most lesser vampires do not ascend to true vampire. That does sound cooler. To vampirehood. I'm sorry. Oh. There we go. Mosquitoes are not mosquito fae are not friendly to one another. So if a true vampire feels threatened, they will try it out. Oh, cool. Bestial, and they generally are unable to control themselves when in a feeding frenzy. Frenzy. You'll see my dyslexia in full form tonight. Frenzy. They are just as likely to attack one another as they are to attack others. The fingers, the hands of true vampires have evolved to flatten out, so they can more easily grab or muffle prey. Prey? Without scratching them and losing precious blood. Precious. Oh my gosh, I can't spell for all. Precious blood. Feral vampires, no such qualm. Evolving to latch on to whatever they attack. Not letting go. Never played it. Well, Dungeons & Dragons vampires kind of work like that. There's a lot of undead vamp servants. I never faced a vampire in D&D. I did in Warhammer Fantasy RPG. Got a cool sword from him, which was good. Also, since IRL male mosquitoes feed on nectar plant sap, you could make the male vampires feed on that and hunt in coordination with the females. The males luring the prey to an isolated place, so the females can hunt with less risk and more easily. And it would also be cool seeing some plenty species depending on the vampire pollination to reproduce. Have any societies except vampires? Fallen, I think a lot of these are cool ideas. If I'm honest, I've gone the full vampire route. So I've made all this art for it. So I think we're going to be focusing on female vampires for today. I might come back to it in the future, because I think that's a really cool idea. Just talking about male mosquito populations and how they just want to, maybe they're like little gardener dudes and they just want to hang out. And the females are just the horrible ones. But yeah, for now I think I'm just going to talk about the nasty beasts for this video. Fallen be cooking up a lot of ideas. You are. I keep these ideas coming, Fallen. I'm liking these. Have any societies accepted vampires? No, not at all. I think there's certain animals that people just wouldn't accept, right? Like, people don't really like wolves in their towns. But if it was something like a snake fae, or even like a shark, or mosquitoes, I think a lot of people would just reject them. Absolutely. And the thing is with like mosquitoes is they can only drink blood. Like a shark could eat like meat they buy from the butcher, right? But a vampire needs fresh blood. And a tick fae, I don't think anyone would accept them. So no, nobody likes them, unfortunately. Okay, next is ticks, which we called giant ticks. Giant ticks are not too uncommon in the Great Forest. Excuse me. Which are uncommon in the Great Forest. They can be found attached to many giant animals and trolls. Dragons who wander the forest. Excuse me. The forest are sometimes found to ask for assistance from worshippers to de-tick themselves. If they cannot do it alone. Say even dragons. Wander forest, the Great Forest. These creatures, in fact, we'll mention both of them. Giant ticks and fleas are not too uncommon in the Great Forest. I think we've had attached to many great animals. On or attached to many great animals. Dragons wander forest. Troll fleas. Ticks are a known parasite carriers, so this could be a perfect opportunity to introduce vampire transmitted sickness. You can set ground for the legend. If a vampire bites you, turn into one and legend across the isle. That is an awesome idea, Fallen. We're absolutely going to do that. Good job. Troll fleas generally avoid fae and humans, as they don't have enough control of their jumps to cleanly land on one. Ticks, however, see no difference in one meal or another. So some campers wake to find their friend desiccated husk with a large, fat, full tick attached to their body. Once a tick latches on, it's a giant tick latches on, it's very difficult to safely remove. And they are well known to carry disease and parasites themselves. Any superstitious folk believe that if you are bitten by a tick, a giant tick, you may become a vampire yourself. Very cool. Good idea, Fallen. Very good idea. You can you may become a vampire yourself. As many people fall seriously ill. Even if the tick is removed. Cool idea. Very, very cool, Fallen. Okay. Lurkers are the local name given to giant, what are they called? Leeches. Found in rivers, fens, marshes, and swamps of the Isle. Lurkers, well, Lurkers is the given, we'll say, frog speech name for giant leeches. These creatures who evolved from humble parasites that could feed and disappear without you noticing. They become hunters, stalking the water, the reeds, any prey they can attach themselves to. Slick bodies easily move through the water. Once one is attached, it is difficult to remove. You squeeze the body. Removing blood, organs, and bones alike. There are many dangers in the swamps, but we will talk about them another day. So I think we're going to separate this into two parts. We're going to say part one, vampires. And we'll say part two, sensmen. Like I said before, leeches can be camouflaged depending on the species, inflate a lot to carry as much blood as possible, and when not full are really fast swimmers. Yeah. We'll mention that actually. The superbodies may be able to move the water, allowing them to move, to swim at incredible speeds. They are well camouflaged. Camouflaged. And once one is attached, it is difficult to remove. They squeeze the body, removing organs, blood organs and bones alike. There are many dangers in the swamp, but we will talk about that another day. Yeah. Nice. I think this is sounding pretty cool. It's gonna be a long script. It's gonna be a big video, I think, but it should be kind of cool. Sentiment. When a vampire is suspected to have moved into a town, there is nothing. I keep spelling there wrong. There is nothing worse than a panic. If riot ensues in search of the vampire, Mosquito Fae will know to escape, leaving weird folk at the mercy of the horde. Weird folk and even normal humans or fae at the mercy of the horde. To avoid these disasters, hunters move in under the cover of move in without causing alarm. These disguised would be a good synonym of hunter. These disguised killers. No, this is disguised veterans called the Sensemen. Sensemen come to towns, to infested towns, bearing gifts. Flowers, like marigolds. Herbs, like lavender, thyme, persil, and rosemary. Vegetables like onions and garlic. They sell these gifts to the villagers for next to nothing, giving them the impression that they are getting a good deal. The villagers, so happy with these fantastic prices, buy up the stock and plant them around the village, essentially creating a sensory defense against the invader. You see, just like vampires, mosquitoes hate garlic. Smell of garlic, that is. Any strong smelling plant can disorientate a vampire, causing them to flee the village or to hold up. Less keen to attack someone. Okay. Oh gosh, I missed a lot. Have you tried using Times New Roman size 14.5 spacing 1.5? It's my personal favorite. To be honest, because this is never going to be read by anyone except myself, I don't care about spelling, and I generally don't format it. I just make it easy enough for me to read, so that when I've got the microphone in front of me, I'm just reading through it, and then I can kind of structure it as I like. But yeah. Repellents mess with their receptors, making it really difficult for them to find food. Nice. So technically, someone could wear a mix of specific plants that could make them invisible to the vampire senses, allowing them to not be attacked. Well, Fallen, you read my mind, because that's exactly what the Sensemen do. Where's my picture? So generally, when they go into battle, when they go into battle, they often tie herbs to themselves. So like this woman has lavender, garlic, and then like basil and persil attached to her, so that the vampire can't really see her. Same with the frog dude, who is covered in lavender. So it's a big aspect of the Sensemen, is to kind of share these plants for the villagers, but to also wear it themselves. So the vampires could use this to deal with a sneak attack to the bloodsuckers. Exactly right. Well, it's one thing I did actually is they cover themselves in it, but I think for the giant Fae it would kind of like, you know, they would like move away from it. It'd be almost like a repellent, like you said. So what I didn't do is I didn't attach it to the snipper, because I would want there to extend the snipper all the way to the mosquito's mouth, so they could snip off the mouth without the mosquito realizing. So that's the plan. Fallen, what do you have so many ideas for vampires? You are a vampire expert, Fallen. Do I need to get garlic? Because I know a bit about mosquito biology, and since the true vampires are mosquitoes, I can use that knowledge. It's a good way to do it. Fallen's a mosquito expert for real. Go, guys. Have a good stream. Thank you for showing the process. No worries, Riffy. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate you being here. Fallen, fair enough. You're a vampire genius. Yeah, I agree. You're doing a very good job, Fallen. Right. Let's get back to writing. Leave this here so we can look at it whilst we're writing. Less keen to attack someone. Okay, we have to do a lot of editing after this just to make sure everything makes sense. Okay. Some Sensemen are often recruited from amongst the numbers of troll hunters. The Sensemen commanders want able-bodied individuals to deal with these creatures, as, unlike most trolls, the vampires live amongst large populations. So failure is not an option. Other recruits are often found amongst those who are attacked by the mosquitoes. They often have scars where the vampires paralyze their muscles or damaged their bodies, but there is no greater enemy than one filled with scorn and armed with vengeance. What were we gonna say? Okay, so we're almost finished the script actually. I think we're doing quite well here. I wonder, do vampires also go the same life cycle as normal mosquitoes with a larval and chrysalis state? Also, since certain birds and insect species feed on mosquitoes, I wonder if some towns try to like have a domesticated predator to keep them away. God, these are cool ideas, Fallen. So the larval stage thing is not something I've really considered much, because you have like the frog fae, but does that mean you have like tadpole fae type thing? So it's something I need to work on a bit more in the lore. For the time being, the answer is maybe. The second one's a cool idea, like domesticated predators. I think that's a good one. But the first one I think is very much a maybe. It's something I'll have to work on eventually, I think. Oh god, I keep spelling there wrong. There's no vengeance. Unlike troll hunters, Sensemen are given the option to quit after only one kill. Many troll hunters need to return back to their guilds to help their brothers. And often those fueled by hatred are sated by the death of a vampire at their hands. Those who choose to quit are rewarded with a special pin to indicate to other sensemen, to other ex and active sensemen, they have performed their duty. They are also given a 1 kilogram marble coin. A very high reward for a very difficult job. I'd recommend with a scornful heart and a blade of vengeance. What did I say? Often those fueled by hatred. I don't know. I said there is no greater enemy than one filled with scorn and armed with vengeance. I think it's fine like that. It's a good idea. So I think the idea is just to to display the emotion as opposed to indicate what they have, if that makes sense. Veteran Tawny beaten. Oh my god, you're smashing through it, Duck. Okay. We will talk about marble is removing this beast from the face of the island. Greatest reward will only be removing this beast from the face of the island. Okay, great. Stream ended early. Oh no, my connection issues. Sorry. Okay, right, let's have a look. Big long script. It's late. You approach in the dark. This is a quote. Help me, the voice calls from the cloaked figure. Please, help me. The voice is disjointed. The words separated, as if they came from different people. The voice is deep, as if the vibrations carry further than the sounds. You want to walk away, but you can't. You stare at the being as he moves closer. Please, please, please. The word does not change. It is the same word that he repeats, as if it is being replayed back to me. He is so close. You hear the vibration now, rustling from his back. A stab in your chest. It is so sudden that it winds you. Your body locks up. What is happening? Thank you. Thank you. Why does he sound like that? The thought goes through your brain as your paralyzed body falls to the ground. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Vampires. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to record this whilst we read it. Also, some insects communicate through dance and body language. Like bees, so mosquitoes communicating through a group of sounds from their wings. Isn't that far-fetched? Yeah, okay, that's good justification, Fallen. Do you know, I wanted to do a little GIF for like the stickers for the Discord of a bee fae doing a little dance. But I'll come back to that, I think, eventually. We'll see. Okay. Right, let's record our audio. We've still got half an hour left, so we might actually be able to get a lot of this video done before I go to bed. Save. Ah, it's very annoying. Okay, we're going to have to restart DaVinci Resolve. Let's try again. See how this goes. There's going to be a Dracula equivalent. There is actually going to be a Dracula equivalent, I think, eventually. We'll see how that turns out. But I think that's going to be for another day. There's a town in it called the Grave of Whitby. Whitby is a town that's not too far from me, actually, which is in Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's where Dracula arrives to the UK. So he's going to live there, essentially, but that's like a future idea. I'm going to leave so I can be surprised when the video comes out. Yeah, I don't really want to spoil it for you guys. That's true. Try to use the voice mimic idea. I recommend watching a short proof called A Hollow Tree. It's really creepy and couldn't help with the portrayal of vampires. I'll check it out. Do you know what, guys? I might end the stream there tonight because I actually do need to go to bed very early because I'm super busy at work tomorrow. I hope that was kind of a good insight a little bit into my kind of script writing. A lot of it is super improvised. It is kind of pre-planned when I'm drawing a lot of the images. The idea is essentially to come up with the idea as you're drawing, because then it helps you to kind of develop the video before you've even started it. Some of these are just improvised, like these two I wanted to do, but a lot of, like this one was part of the animation that I wanted to do, never got to eventually. And then this one I thought would be a really good story element. So some of them are chosen. And actually the Senseman idea came from this picture. I think we randomly kind of came up with that on a stream, I think. And the cart as well was a big aspect of the Senseman image. So it's good to kind of develop the story as you're drawing, and then when you get to the video, to just go for it. I'm not giving any advice here, this is just how I do it. But then it helps you, because you've already kind of prepared the script in your head. It's a lot easier to write, I think. But yeah, thanks. Absolutely. Fallen, Blank. So I really appreciate all the ideas here, guys. It does make it a lot easier for sure. Heck yeah, Bard, which species? Well, that's a surprise. I'm going to leave it up to you. Anyone reading or read the Game of Thrones book? Yes, read all of them. They're very, very good books. Duck, thanks for stopping by, mate. Congratulations on winning all of your all of your tournaments. Falls away and falls. I will see you guys in the Discord. Hopefully I'll be able to get this recorded this week and sent out. But thanks for all of the ideas and stopping by and helping me. and I'll see you guys in the Discord, or I'll see you next Wednesday for another stream. We should, in fact, this month there should be at least one video, one new podcast episode with a special guest, and one. I might do a bit of an introduction to my kind of process and how I create the acceleration, because a few people mentioned about that. But yeah, that's a very much a maybe. The rest of these, the podcast and the episode will definitely be out. The Name That Character, that's gonna be one that comes out this week as well. So look out for that. Right, guys, thanks for stopping by. Love you very much. See you guys in the Discord. Thank you, Fallen, Duck, Blank, Sidon. Who else do we have? Riffy, Winter, Throndix, Mr. Louis, The Ideal of Greed. Appreciate all you guys, and I will see you guys next time. You're reading the first book currently. Highly recommend it, Blank. You got to finish all of the books. They're all awesome. George R.R. Martin is an awesome writer. He's a very slow writer, but he's very, very good at what he does. You have to finish all of them. Right. See you later.